Good morning, everybody. I'm Christian Johnson. I am the founder of MultiPass and the major partner of MultiPass Ventures. You may have heard about us just around the ecosystem, but today I just want to talk to you a little bit just about who we are, what we do, and how you can get involved. So we're based here in St. Louis. We are a national startup ecosystem, so we are very much focused on really helping companies really grow and scale, and also we love companies that are building for impact. So if you're doing something that you want to solve big problems, that is why we exist. So a little bit about my background. I'm actually a former military veteran and tours in Afghanistan, and actually former St. Louis City police officer. And I really, as a police officer, I was at Ferguson, and I really wanted to figure out how I can be a part of helping empower the community. And I really believe the way to do that is through business. Way to really empower communities and also cities that are creating entrepreneurs that are really wanting to solve big problems. So we have a few components of our ecosystem that we've been building over the past 3 years. So we have our own startup program, and I'll dive a little bit into that. We have an angel group that we're launching later this year. We also have our own venture capital arm, where we actually are creating right now a $20 million fund specifically to invest in early stage companies, mostly led by women and underrepresented minorities that are creating early stage technology products and also consumer good products. So we've been doing a lot over the past few years. A lot of people are like, oh, what are you guys working on? And you know, what are you doing? But we've been building it, and now we are starting to actually starting to flourish. So I'll dive a little bit into this. And if you want to go on our website, MultiPassApp.com, we'll see it. See the best way to do this. So we're very much focused on helping companies really grow and scale. So this is from ideation, like when you say, hey, I have an idea, I wanna help people that are unbanked in the world. So how do you do that? And then we want to be able to take you from that ideation to where you're creating your MVP, work on your MVP, and then scaling that out. And scale looks like where you're reaching hundreds and thousands, millions of users or customers. So I always start off with saying that we're value-based. We really care about that. That's really what makes us different. So I tell my team every day, integrity above all. So we're always going to be honest with you. We're always going to make sure that we lead you to the right places, and always that's what we really encourage, and make sure all our companies that we work with, that they really care about that. Founders first. So this is a concept where we have an investment arm, and we do really care about returns, and a lot of term sheets. They can actually be very much focused on just only the investors' perspective and the investors' best interest, but we really care about founders first, and that comes through integrity. And then simply care is really the basis of what our ecosystem is really about. So I have a team of about 20 people that work for us in different cities across the country, but I'm still taking calls with founders in different places. I take a call with the founder basically once a day. My team does it about four or five times a day, and I just simply care. You know, just if you have an idea that you're working on, you say, hey, you know, I just want to talk about my idea. I will sit with you, whether it's over coffee or a 15-minute call. I don't have a super ton of time, but you know, I want to hear, and if I can add value, that is what I care about. So this is just really in simple, what we do. We're a startup platform. We're created here in the Midwest. We create impactful founder events, and so I'll dive a little bit into that. That's how you can get involved. We have events here in St. Louis, Los Angeles, a few other places. We have our own programs, and we make investments. We really care about, like I said earlier, we really care about companies that are growing to create impact. These are just some of our partners. We've partnered up with some of like the best companies that are really helping founders. One of them is IBM Cloud. We actually, in our programs, we actually have our 120K in IBM Cloud credits. We have 120K in Microsoft credits. And there's actually a couple of people here in the crowd right now that have gone through some of our programs. So I'll start off with our first program. This is our startup program. So this is a 6-week immersion program. We just successfully did that, was it about a couple of months ago? Ben Anderson in the back, raise your hand. He's the founder of Wand. He was one of the companies. We did 6 companies in 6 weeks. And actually, basically here at T-Rex, where we basically took companies that are working on MVP product, working on their MVP, which is minimal viable product, and we really focused on helping them scale. So we are doing our next program, and that's something that definitely we want to. If you're working on something, you can definitely apply. Oh, sorry about that. Sorry. So our fall cohort is open right now as we speak, and it will be actually closing probably in the next week and a half. So we have a pretty long list of that. My team is actually going through the due diligence process with a few companies right now. So if you're a company, you're early stage, you don't have to be a technology company to go through this program. The only requirement is that you want to scale. So that just means that, hey, I want to take my idea and really grow it where I'm reaching hundreds of thousands of customers. And you may not even think that, oh, I can actually take my product and do this and scale it out. But I promise you can. This is literally the best time in history where you can scale a company very easily and very cheaply. So in the program, you're paired with a mentor. We're going to really go over a lot of sales. So one thing I tell all the cohorts, sales. Sales cures all. Sometimes a lot of companies and founders, they tend to avoid sales, but honestly that is the best way if you really want to grow and scale. Really focus on how can you reach one customer? How can you get somebody to buy your product? And then how can you duplicate that? How can you take that to 10 customers? So you're not starting at 100,000 customers. You're starting at that one customer. And then how can you get a few more people? So that's something that we really go on. And then also brand and storytelling. So how can you actually really say, hey, I'm trying to create this really great product, but how can you shape it and tell it to people where they say, okay, I connect with that product and I want to buy from you. So that's what we're going to go over in our program. So feel free also, if you want to look in that, just go on the website. Literally, you can dig more into that. I'm going to go into our MultiPass Ventures, which is our venture capital arm, where we make investments out of. So I'm the managing partner. I'm the one that goes out and gets the capital to invest in the companies. And like I said, our core values, these are core values, and we really make sure all our companies that we are looked to invest in. We spend time with the team, we interview them, we talk to their customers. We really try to make sure that they really align with what we really care to invest in. A little bit about the requirements. So we invest in early stage technology companies, and also we do a little bit of consumer good products as well. But are primarily led by women and underrepresented minorities. So the reason why we did this was we really saw a big funding gap when it comes to who gets funding in venture capital and who doesn't. Out of all the total venture capital money that's deployed every year, only 3% of that go to female founders, and only 1% of that goes to people of color, and then less than that, women of color. So we really saw that as a huge opportunity because even with female founders and people of color, they've been building without venture capital, and they've been building companies, and one thing that we found was that they're really resilient. And so we've basically have gone around the country, we've found the best companies, the first startup teams, and we've located them, and we want to invest in them. That's something that we tell all our investors, that this is not a charity fund. We really care about great returns to our investors, and we really see these companies as great opportunities for investment. So if you're building a company, please apply. We do have a kind of a monthly revenue requirement, but even if you're not up to like 50K monthly recurring revenue, please come talk to me, and we can tell you like how to get on that path. And a lot of that is also through our startup program and our mentors and all of our different stuff. So go on our website and pitch us. So this is also where you kind of see a little bit more about our thesis. So U.S.-based, revenue producing, raising a seed round about $1.52 million. So you can really kind of see, like if you kind of fit in that mold. If you don't, it's okay. Like we do have other things that that you can get to where you can get to this point. Also, I'll say like we do like to lead, and we'll also do a syndicate deal as well. Oh, and I'm sorry. Also, we're also sector agnostic within technology. I'm going to go to our event. So, like, how can you actually really interact with our ecosystem? So we partner up with a lot of startups, startup co-working spaces, incubators around the country. T-Rex is where we're based out of here, but most of the co-working spaces in St. Louis we partnered up with, as well as about 50 other spaces across the country. We're working on a deal right now with WeWork as well, which they're national. And then a lot of our team also is in Los Angeles and San Francisco and San Diego, New York. So we have investment teams that basically they help source the deals. They meet with the founders. They also run our startup programs. Right now we only have our startup program here in St. Louis, and we're launching one also in Los Angeles later this fall. But this is like one of our main events. This Diverse Founders and Funders event. This is an event where we want, as investors, and also we want to pull together other investors from the community, and we want to meet with you guys and just share our journeys, and also just it's a way for also you as founders to really listen to what investors really look at when we're investing in deals, when we're looking at startups. And so we've actually done this about 4 times last month, earlier this month here in St. Louis, and then last month in Los Angeles. We did it twice in Los Angeles and once here. So the next ones will be in August here in St. Louis, Los Angeles, San Francisco, and New York. So just go, just apply or register for this event. I think you can also look at like our team. These are some of the people on our team. We actually have kind of more than that, but we do also have a membership program as well. This allows founders that are basically building companies just around the country. So we have our own startup portal where we put a lot of our resources and stuff for the founders in. So we actually give access to our startup portal, and as well as our events for free for our members as well. So if you're interested in that, definitely check that out. We have a lot of, like I said, we have 120K of IBM Cloud credits and Microsoft credits as well, so if you want to check that out. So kind of with that, this like kind of overall gist of what we do. You can definitely come to me and talk to me more about it. But yeah, just wanted to get guys to give you just an overview. I will now take some questions from the audience.
All right, please wait for the microphone. All right, here we go. Yeah, the team up first.
So what are your revenue requirements?
For which program?
For the venture, or for the capital.
Yeah, so at least 50K in monthly recurring revenue. Yeah.
So you mentioned one of your LinkedIn posts, which I recommend everybody check out. But you mentioned being concerned about founders' mental health. Can you tell us how you assess that?
Yeah. So we really care about. So this is something that we've been like tackling. So traditionally, when you're looking at a company to invest in, or even like the portfolio companies of VC firms, they don't actually really care about like the wellness of founders. So when you get a lot of capital and you're raising people, hiring people, so you have 5 to 10 employees, you may be 25 years old or 30 years old, but you've never managed anybody, and that can be a lot of stress. So one thing that we're looking at is like, how can we not only, it's not just about writing a check, but it's about kind of building an ecosystem around the founders, pre-investment and post-investment. So kind of the pre-investment is saying like, we're kind of understanding a little bit about your baseline, like kind of mental wellness. So are you like killing yourself every day to like build your company? Like people say like, that's also why it's kind of controversial, because they say, hey, you should work every day, all day long to build whatever you want. But at the end of the day, if you're killing yourself, if you're not sleeping, not eating, like how are you actually building a sustainable company? So we really take the marathon approach. That this is a marathon, not a sprint. And if we can help you pre-investment, where you can really think about, hey, like actually I need to sleep. I actually need to meditate in the morning. I meditate every morning, before I start my day, and like I'm more productive that way. I serve people more that way. So that's more where we want to be a part of that pre-investment, and then even post-investment. Can we also still be a part of helping you as you've now got this capital? Can you now be rethinking the way you treat your team? Because you get a lot of employee turnover. If my boss is just like, I was just talking to a founder of a big company here in St. Louis, and he was saying like, hey, we had a big problem with that, where we hired a bunch of people, and it's great that we're making all this revenue and everything, but we had like employees like quitting because like they felt like they couldn't go home until I went home, And so it's just changing that mentality.
And I think that's a great point, Christian. I recommend everyone, I'm sure everyone here listens to Tim Ferriss's podcast, but it's one of the best. And he talks, so many people talk about, if you're running at 80% speed, you'll never be able to run at 100% speed.
Exactly.
Whereas running at 40%, or sometimes go to 0%,
yeah,
you can get up to 100% a lot faster.
Yeah, and that's the issue, like, especially in the startup world, it's like, just like kill yourself, to get where you're doing. And I get it, you have to, like, I'm not saying like you should not work hard, you need to work hard to get anything that you want out of life, but how can you make sure that you're doing it in a sustainable way? So, yeah.
More questions?
Any other questions? Questions? I know there's more questions out there.
Great presentation, great product.
Thank you.
Really love a lot of the stuff you're doing. As you look into the future, it sounds like the venture capital is kind of the current focus. Where do you go from there? What's the next major focus for you with MultiPass?
Yeah. So essentially, like, you know, we're building very much an ecosystem. Our next focus will be having maybe like a harder relationships either with the co-working spaces that we work with, or looking to also maybe one thing we're looking at actually is creating a startup village made out of shipping containers in South LA and actually in North St. Louis. So that's something that where we will be maybe a long development project. We're still like playing with that idea. We're playing with also the idea of like co-living spaces where founders actually do have access to better places to live and work. We really, really care about if you have a great place to work, great place to live, also great programming and great things to actually like help you grow. Because we believe that entrepreneurship shouldn't be like this like vague thing where it's like, I don't know where I'm going, I don't know who I gotta talk to, I don't know where I'm living, all this other stuff. Yes, as an entrepreneur, you need to be able to figure those things out, but honestly, it shouldn't be this like ambiguous thing. And so we want to, our really goal is to decentralize innovation, where no matter what zip code you live in, you should have access to be able to solve problems that the world needs.
You know, I like what you're doing. It's great. When you talk about your fund, as far as women and minority entrepreneurs, what is your reach out, particularly in this particular one, as far as reaching that audience?
So reach out
To that community.
How do you find them?
Oh, okay, got it. The biggest thing is also, like events like our Diverse Founders and Funders event. We our last one had over 50 people, that there, like just coming to learn. So I'm also doing in different cities, not just St. Louis. So that's literally like one of the biggest outreach parts, where they can actually come and not only talk to me or talk to my team, but they can also talk to other investors in the community at different levels. So we do early stage, and also there's later stage or super early stage, or people that are running accelerator programs. So that's the biggest like outreach. And also like if you follow us like on LinkedIn or Facebook, a lot of other stuff that we're doing. Yeah.
So out of that 50 in your outreach, how many of those were minority African American?
Basically all of them. Yeah. Basically all of them. Like you don't have to be a woman or minority to come to the events. Like it's very diverse group. So yeah.
All right, any more questions?
No questions. Going.
Any other questions?
Thank
No
you
more
very much.
questions. All right.
Well, except for the one question, except for the one question we always ask.
Oh yeah. Well, he kind of got it. What can the community do for you, Christian?
Yeah. So definitely as a community, definitely need more championing. Like if you know entrepreneurs, we don't have a gender or like you can be anything in our startup program. Over there is like actually our flyer. Okay, just changed. But basically like so spread the word about our startup program right now. That's open. Our applications are open for our funding as well. So just please spread the word. We're doing a lot in this community.